What's up? All right. So shortly we will. Well, we're live, but shortly I'm going to start going over camera stuff. With Paul, showing him some ins and outs, talking about basic camera stuff, how to set up a gimbal, how to just put together a slider, how to all that kind of stuff, how it works, and what it's for. Um, because we're going to be shooting basically a short film in about 3 weeks or so. So he needs a crash course. So as well as some other people, but I don't know where they are. They're not here. Anywho, so I'll be kind of showing him my gear specifically, and um, I use my main camera is a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. It's not the 4K, though I'm gonna get that as soon as I can, hopefully in a few months. Um, I've been kind of waiting for all the pre-orders to die down, so I don't have to worry about waiting too long. Just order it, and maybe it's the second, or third batch, and glitches are out of the way. So that's kind of my hope. So I didn't dive on it right away, but I'm super excited about that camera, and I'm gonna get it. It may just replace my Black Magic Pocket Cinema camera, or I may have both, maybe as backup. It's never a bad idea to have backup cameras. Um, I shoot with Blackmagic and Sony A6000. That's more of like a, consider that more of a vlogging camera, but it's pretty good in low light. It's a decent little camera. They're both decent little cameras. One's more cinematic than the other. So I'm going to show my setup. I have a kind of a different setup than a lot of people that use that camera, to combat battery life and recording times and stuff of that nature. And so yeah, I'm going to go over all that stuff. I'm just waiting for him to come out here. Till then, I'll drink my milk. Ugh. I don't think he realizes we're live, but yeah, we're live. We're live. And I probably should turn on that music. Maybe I can do it from, let's see. I never turned on Pretzel Rock, so hopefully this works. Okay, it's playing. I hear audio, well, I see audio. Anyway, okay, there we go. There's some Pretzel Rocks playing. Cool story. And I think we'll just turn the chat bot on too. We'll see if this works. I don't spend much time on this side, so I forget where stuff is. So, give me a second. this. Over here for the time being. Looks like it's working. I don't know. If it's working, cool. If not, cool. Whatever. Hopefully you can hear me just fine and the music just fine. I think the volumes are alright. Alright. Just waiting on Paul. Guess I got some on the camera here. I'll move that away. we're already live, so. So we're already, hold on some stuff
Where's this?
there. Probably up there. And that way they can see whatever and they can see you do it.
Word.
Makes more sense.
Hi, guys. It's weird being on this side of the table again.
It is. It's weird.
Weird being on that side of the table again.
Yeah. Like, where is everything? I don't remember. So I busted out the camera stuff, or some of it. So obviously there's the main cinema camera, so you can pick it up or
What? This is it?
Yeah, that's the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera.
Oh, it's got like a.
So it has a cage around it
Okay.
to protect it, and so you can mount things to it.
That cage is really heavy, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's an expensive camera, so.
Is it?
I mean, when that came out, it was over $1,000 just for the body,
Oh.
not including anything else. I bought it used off eBay, so I got a good deal on it. I got like a cage and camera, and so there's like an adapter on it that's also a speed booster. And
Like, if anybody looked at this that didn't know anything about it, they would be like, yeah, this is an old school, just because of the wood on it. They're like,
Yeah.
this is old. It's worth about $30.
that shoots actually raw. That actually shoots. Doesn't even take pictures.
Oh, it's just video?
Yeah, it doesn't take any pictures.
Oh.
It actually shoots 12-bit RAW, which. So okay. There's different. We'll talk about this first since we brought it up. So there's several different bit rates when it comes to cameras and filming. So like most cell phones, most people's cameras are like 8-bit. Like vast majority of like consumer cameras are 8-bit color. So that means when you go up to 10-bit, you have way more color data there, exponentially more, and then 12-bit is even more. So like 12-bit RAW looks like, if you just look at the footage right off the camera, a person that doesn't know what they're doing, they go, this is a really shitty camera, because it'll look like it's grayscale. It'll look like like it doesn't have color, and it'll just look gray, and like nothing will be dark. It'll just look terrible because it's not supposed to be used. It's not supposed to be filmed and then just put out.
Got
Like,
it.
it's meant for color grading and stuff like that. Most time I shoot in ProRes. One, it's a smaller file. It's easier for computers to edit. And it has plenty of color data for most color grading jobs. It's not quite as gray, but it's still very grayscale in comparison to like most people's cell phones when they shoot something, it's like already like color saturated and contrast is turned up just so it looks good to the average person. They're like, oh yeah, that's great. You know, they don't have to do anything. And that's fine. Like, but when you start messing into more like pro or prosumer level stuff, then you're like getting into like stuff that you want you want flexibility when you edit. So that's the point. 8-bit, 10-bit, 12-bit. The more bits, the more data you have to work with. At some point it becomes too much data for most computers, but that's another talk. So come over here.
So is that camera essentially the same as this camera?
That camera is the Sony a6000. It's a little bit better in low light. It's a little more like point and shoot kind of thing.
Okay.
It'll also take pictures. It's more of that's more of a consumer camera.
More of a user-friendly.
Yeah, that camera requires a lot more stuff to function right. So the Blackmagic camera, the screen on it is terrible. One reason I spent $800 on a screen and a recorder, which I'm going to bust out here and show you. So okay, so in here I have, this is my Atmos kit.
Your toolkit?
So, let's see. So right here is a screen. Dust on it. And so this is not only a screen, but it's also a recorder. So it records information, which we've already talked to you about. And that runs off batteries. I also have you can plug it in and power it too. So like when we shoot on the 8th, we'll probably do a lot of plug-in power
Right.
because this thing eats through batteries like crazy in comparison to other stuff.
I bet.
And then it takes SSD hard drives for the recording medium. You just slide them in like so. Kind of see.
Oh yeah.
See how it works.
These are light.
Yep. They just kind of snap in. And
That's neat.
well, you can plug it in. We're actually gonna set this up
Okay.
like while we're sitting here, so you can kind of see how it goes together. So I usually, since we're not running off power, we're going to put in 2 of these batteries. So let's go in the back. So yep. You want to slide it in. There you go. And there's release buttons right here. And on the other side too. So when you want to release them, you just push those in.
Okay.
And slide them out.
You need to keep some screen wipes around, bro.
Right.
That's crazy.
Well, you end up touching that screen a lot because
Right.
they're active a lot. So this is going to plug into via HDMI into the side of this. What we want to do is mount that to this just for now. Like when we, depending on what we're doing, say we're going to be shooting on a slider, for example, which here's a little mini slider. Pretty cool. You can mount this on a tripod if you want to, or set it up on stuff. So you just mount the camera to.
We can get the baseball players out of the way.
So you mount your camera to this point here. You can mount like this or whatever to a tripod or any kind of mounting surface. This, and then this is
Oh,
freely slides, so you can see it's like super smooth.
yeah.
So because it's so smooth and like that, you wouldn't want to mount this on this and then maybe just too much weight pulling one way or the other.
Okay.
So like on a slider, you want to try to keep it as minimal as possible, just because that way you have a smoother track when you're actually trying to get a shot. You don't have any kind of weird like micro jitters. Just a little tip from doing it and going, oh, that doesn't work very well. So anyway, so here's a mounted what we call a friction arm. And the trick to these is to straighten them out first and tighten it back down. So when you tighten this down, it tightens down all these joints. And then you just screw it on. So to whatever mounting point. So we'll just use this here. It's kind of center-ish. Kind of tighten it down. Then we can take this and we can screw that on top of there.
You gotta just put it on and turn it?
Yep.
That's annoying. They need to make them so
It just snaps on.
yeah.
I'm sure that like they probably have accessories for things like that, but I don't have extra money to
We'll get
spend
it.
on those things. So then what you want to do obviously is loosen this up. And now you can move. So as you see
okay.
there's like an opening on each side. So you can
Different
like,
joints.
Yeah, so you can realign it where you want to.
Oh, when you tighten that, it tightens all 3?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can turn this to really line up and so like maybe like set it like that. So it's kind of just,
Oh.
and you just tighten that down nice and snug, and now you can like pick it up and manipulate it.
That's neat.
So that right there is the battery thing that's going to power this. So I'll grab that. That's going to go on. Just slide it on this point here. So it kind of snaps into place. Obviously, this is set up to be on something, so you wouldn't want to like lay it that like. Obviously,
Right.
you would not. So usually I have this on like if it's set up like this, and if I'm like hand holding it,
I may put it on like a short set of rails, like you've seen the rail where I have it on a shoulder
Yeah.
rig.
Yeah.
So something like that. Which we'll do real quick while we're, since we're here, just so we can kind of see. Actually, because I want to put it on, I want to do gimbal too, so to avoid a million things coming apart, just always be careful with it. So that goes into here, and what I do is I try to kind of like keep all the wires tidy. So I'll take this and move it around. So it kind of just,
Is it weird trying to explain how to set up a camera while you're on camera?
yeah, it is a little bit. So that way it's kind of just out of the way. Because you're not going to really use this screen per se. This screen is going to be more of like just to reference settings on the camera. Because when you're actually filming and looking, you'll be using this screen. But what I do is I just leave my like menu settings up here.
Okay.
So I can quickly change those. But all the recording data and monitoring of what you're looking at, you're going to do on that screen.
Right.
And that goes on there, and then these snap on just like those did.
Like the old VHS-C camera batteries.
Kind of. Yeah. So there's that. One thing to be super careful of when it comes to Blackmagic cameras, and most cameras in general, but this one specifically because you can't get it repaired, is the micro HDMI that goes into here.
Okay.
You can't, like, so if that port breaks, you're fucked.
Really?
Yeah, you can't get it repaired. Nobody fixes it. Nobody has parts for it. It's one of the weird things, the way it was designed very badly. The new one, they use a full HDMI. So the newer versions they've come out since.
A full-size HDMI or
Yeah.
mini HDMI?
They use the full size.
Oh, wow.
And they have like a bunch of other connections too. Like you can hook
okay.
up regular like microphone cables into it and stuff like that too. So what
Like
I do,
XLR?
Yeah.
Into a camera?
There's lots of cameras that have that.
Oh, wow.
So especially cinema cameras.
This is when you're trying to explain camera technology to a DJ. I don't have a fucking clue.
So you want to
It
make sure
doesn't surprise me, I suppose.
you want to make sure this is facing the right way, not to bend any pins. So you just want to double check it. And what I do is I keep this rolled up, and then I usually have it like I'll wrap it around this, but I have it going around here. So what I'll do, fix that, move it, just to show you a good example of what would make more sense for ergonomic purposes.
So you're not blocking your camera?
Well, I mean, I wasn't really worried about that. It's more just a place to put this cord, so it's not just.
Can't
know,
you just get a shorter cord?
I could, but sometimes I just grabbed this because Mike broke the last cord.
Mike, real?
Yeah, he did.
Way to go, Mike, real.
When he had it in his
Way to break an HDMI to micro HDMI cord, Mike, real.
I thought he broke the socket.
Huh.
I was like really worried.
That's crazy that it's like non-repairable like that.
Yeah. So then this obviously goes into the in section. So when that's hooked up, that's hooked up. Now you can power on everything. So the power button is down here, in this corner. So I can run out.
Okay.
So that powered on, and then hold that, and this will turn on. I noticed that sometimes there's with any technology, sometimes there's weird glitches. Like there it goes. Sometimes they'll say no input when you like play back stuff. I've noticed like a weird glitch. So then you have to like turn off the Blackmagic camera and turn it back on. Weird stuff like that. So.
The music player is really loud.
Maybe I should turn it down so people can hear.
Did you turn the monitors all the way up?
That one?
Yeah.
No.
Usually I max that just to get a better gauge of.
Oh, okay. So I'll turn the desktop audio down.
Don't turn the desktop audio down. Turn the actual music player down.
Oh.
Put it like 4%.
Where's the audio control on the settings?
No, should be a little volume button on it, lower right hand corner.
I'm not seeing. Oops. Oh. Found it. I think I just muted it or made it really quiet. So what percentage you think?
Usually about probably 4.
4%?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, way down there.
Yeah.
That's like super quiet.
Usually about probably 4. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
You get a 5 or 6 or it's all right. Not a big deal.
I'm gonna turn this down just a little bit. So,
Yeah, it's fine.
and then this back up. Obviously, don't want to squish or tweak or pull any cables when you're doing this. So as you can see, it's like working. So now would be a good time to talk about f-stop. So on here on this lens, see how you have like 1.8, 2.8, 4, 5.6,
Okay.
all the way up to 22. So that indicates f-stop. So that's how, if you look inside there and I turn that, you can see.
Okay.
So
Where the shutter range is.
yeah. So actually, that's not the shutter. That would be
The cornea.
The stops. Like what do they call that? It's called f-stop, but it has another name. There's little
It's like
fins.
the pupil.
Yeah, basically. So there's like little fins that close down and let in or don't let as much light in. So the lower the number, the more open it is and the more light comes in.
Huh.
Also, the more light you're letting in through that, the shorter your focus range is. So if you have like, say it's on like 5.6, you may have like several feet of focus range where you'll have like 5 or 6 feet of range where things are in focus. And if you turn it way down, it's like 1.8, or if you have a lens that goes down like 1.2, it may be like a couple of inches of focus range. Where
Huh.
so if you focus like 1 inch too far, it's completely out of focus. So the more that's open, the more light lets in, the less focus range, which can be really cinematic and really good. You just gotta make sure you're in focus. Luckily, this has tools to help you with that. Then you have your focus ring.
So that the tools on that just adjust the actual image parameter, and it doesn't adjust the physical lens movement, right?
On this, no.
Yeah.
So on the Atomos recorder, what it'll do, it has tools to help you like see what you're looking at. So I'll put this here just to so you can kind of see. I don't know. So on here, you have your record function. So if you have the hard drive plugged in, which we do.
Stupid cords.
So up here it shows like what the frame, like, so the camera's putting out 1080p at 24 frames per second. We're filming, it's set up to film in ProRes HQ, which is the highest quality. You can actually click on that and change that if you wanted to. So like you can hit quality and change it to different levels, and it'll tell you approximately how much recording time you have within each quality setting. And then obviously the different formats, because this can also record in AV, ID, basically the Pro Tools
Okay.
version of format. Most people don't use it unless you're in that world. But most people use ProRes because they've got good quality. I shoot 99% of stuff I shoot in HQ just because I want the best quality, most flexibility. I can always render it down to a lesser quality later. But if you don't have enough storage, or if you want to make it a little easier on your computer, you can actually set this up to film lower scaled stuff if you wanted to.
Huh.
Some cameras output different like frame rates and stuff. This one has a couple outputs of like different things, but like some of the newer cameras will put out like 1080 and 4K and even like 6K and 8K and stuff like that.
Move your mic. Sorry.
So that, you know, you can hear me. All right. Anyway, so those are kind of input sections where you can stuff. Most of the time, it's pretty self. And then this tells you the hard drive, like what hard drive that's in there, if it's formatted and stuff. How much space is left, the battery power here, and then the last one would be like if you're plugged into the wall. If you have clips in there recorded, you can hit the play button, go back and select which clip and watch them back at whatever speed or whatever you want. We have menu options here for like setting time and different things. You can even do time code syncing and stuff like that. Then the interesting tools are like this is vector scopes, and this isn't really it's good for like making sure certain things aren't blown out. Like you can click on that and it'll bring up a vector scope down below. So like it shows like red, green, and blue, and like how bright they are. So if I move around, it's looking at like the dark. So the left side of each one of these is like the shadows.
Okay.
Okay, makes it like the dark areas. The right side is excuse me, actually this one is vertical. So I had to think about that for a second. So the bottom of it would be the shadows. The top would be the highlights. So if I was to point it at, say, that light there. See how the highlights are like clipping?
Yeah.
So it's what's 100 or whatever. So it's showing that that's too bright and that you're losing information in there.
Okay.
And then like if you were to point at something super dark and like there's nothing in here that's that dark. I mean they're kind of there, but not. It's not clipping to the bottom yet.
Right.
This is one way to do it. I don't use this that much, but it's an interesting way. And it has different versions. Like you have a single waveform you can use. You can set it up to be like the whole screen, the bottom, the corner. You know, however you want to do it. And then there's other versions of different scopes and stuff. I think the easiest two are these ones. These ones are a little harder to read and kind of, they're just not as like quick to glance at and understand what's happening. You can set your transparency here, brightness, so you can kind of see how much.
Oh, and that's just of the waveform.
Yeah, that's just the waveform.
Okay.
So, say we don't want that, we just click on that, get rid of it. Go over to the next menu. This is interesting. This has focus assist. So if this is clicked to where it's highlighted, see how like there's some stuff that's purple right there?
Yeah.
So that tells you what's in focus in the shot. As long as there's enough light there to give you information. You can also change the color.
Oh wow.
So if you have like a certain background or certain thing that you're looking at where you're having a hard time seeing that color.
So you can offset the color.
Yeah, you can change it, make it easier. You can also go to black and white, where you turn everything black and white except for the focus point. And I think it's this one. And this is just like straight what's in focus. So this is cool, like just to like make sure you're in focus before you start recording things of this nature. Then you have zebra threshold. So zebras tell you when something's blown out in the highlights area. So if you turn that on and we point up, so you have zebras around there.
Yeah.
And if we open up the thing, it'll even worse.
Oh wow.
So, but the zebras also are set to trigger at 90% of the threshold. So that might actually not be completely blown out in that shot. Like, I would bet that's not completely blown out. You know what I mean? I just adjusted the f-stop to bring that down. So that's probably not completely blown out. If I turn up the threshold, I can probably tell. So it's pretty close to like not completely blown out of information.
Okay.
So you can set a threshold so it gives you a warning before you get to that point. Like, oh, I might be too bright there. I might need to turn my exposure. Might need to make the scene a little darker or adjust the light source or whatever.
Hey, what up, Leviathan?
What's up? So down here we have like focus zoom, so we can click on this and it'll zoom in and you can actually like move around to see if you're in focus. So that's kind of a cool tool if you need to like really hone in on something. And then you have, this is a cool, this is, what do they call this? This is false color. Yeah, false color. And so this basically tells you exposure and color.
Okay.
So like a human face, you want to be in this gray to pink area. There's like pink there. So if you were to look at like,
It almost looks like a night vision
Yeah.
type thing.
yeah. So this like gives you color information to tell you how things are exposed. So things that are like purple, that's probably a little too dark. I mean, unless you want that.
I kind of want to take pictures like that though.
Yeah, probably could.
I'm just kidding.
But
That's kind of a cool setting
yeah, and then
for the user.
yeah, and this I forget what this is. To be honest. And then you also have like things for cropping. So if you're filming stuff, you could set up different crop factors. So if you know you're going to be like cropping it down to like to a square, for example.
Leviathan's looking for used cars to buy. Sean's trying to teach me how to be a videographer.
So you see these lines here, that tells you where it would be cut off. So you still have, you're
Okay.
still recording everything outside that, but it gives you a reference point. So when you're setting up framing, you can use that as a reference to like,
To what size
Yeah,
aspect
so, like-
ratio you're
yeah. So like I may want to shoot edit it down to look like this, but I would, so you could have that on to make sure things are in frame and framed right
right.
while you're doing that. So it's a good helpful tool.
Huh.
Okay, we can get off that. This is just for like tagging for, like I don't use that in this because it's just not, like, I just don't want to do anything.
Okay.
I mean, you can set it up so you can like, oh, that was bad audio. It was. You can add little tags to like, oh, this is a good take, this is a bad take, that kind of thing to different stuff. And then this is cool, so you can monitor. Like, I don't have any LUTs on here right now, but normally, like, so if I had a LUT, I could apply. It's LUTs are like color grading, kind of like a almost to super simplify it. It's like a preset. For color grading.
Okay.
That's way oversimplified, but you can put, if you had them in there, which I normally do, but I didn't. I think, oh no, they're still there. Sweet. They're on this hard drive. So like I can preview what it's gonna look like. So if I know that I'm gonna grade the footage to look like this LUT or that LUT, I can look and make sure that my scene is properly lit and set up for that end result
Yeah.
before I even shoot.
Okay.
So
Leviathan said, "I just strap a GoPro and hope for the best." That's the way I would do it too. But
yeah, but
Sean is such a freaking anal detail snob when it comes to filming.
like I want it to look like a real film. There's a lot that
Yeah.
goes into it. I mean, there's a time and place for a GoPro. There's definitely, like, I want the new GoPro. Anyway, so those are the basic settings in there. And you hit like this to just hit that to record. Red light goes around like I did before. So
So that's actually controlling the camera control itself.
no, so
So the
that's
camera is just a lens.
basic lens and sensor, and then this
Okay.
is the recording device.
Okay, got it.
So it allows the recorder in higher quality footage because now you have a separate processor doing that
Right.
from that. So a lot of times cameras, well, one of the things that, like, Sony cameras are famous for doing.
I knew you met Sean.
What?
Leviathan said, "What's up, John?" I mean Sean.
That like the sensors and the processors overheat the cameras.
Okay.
So by doing it this way, it's really hard to overheat a camera unless it was like 120 degrees outside or something.
Gotcha.
So that's another way to kind of mitigate that issue. And then,
And I'm not going to be joining you if you're filming in 120 degree weather. So
I mean, I wouldn't probably want to.
yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. I have no desire to film 120 degree weather for much of anything. So down here is your menu for the camera. And menu system on this camera kind of sucks. The new version is like touchscreen and so much easier, but unfortunately I don't have it yet. So you go down to settings, and this is where you can scroll over. You have your ISO. You're familiar with ISO?
A little bit.
A little bit. So ISO is just the image sensitivity. So the higher that number, the more sensitive the sensor is in the camera. The higher that is also and becomes more sensitive, it brings in more and more grain.
Okay.
So you want to shoot on the lowest ISO as possible is generally a good rule of thumb. White balance, I usually keep around 5600 for most things I shoot, and then I can correct, because I shoot like in ProRes or a log type profile, so it's pretty flat, so I can tweak it in post. But you can adjust that so things are more warm or more cool if you wanted to bake that into a footage. Around 5600 is pretty middle, so it allows you more flexibility. And then shutter angle is the same as shutter speed, except shutter angle is like the old way of doing it. It's like the old, you see it more on cinema cameras. They use a shutter angle. It talks about actually the degree of the angle of the shutter in it. Basically, all you really need to know is that the higher the number, the more light is being let in. Though it's not so much a problem on this, but like, say you did that on the Sony and you turned it like way down, or where you had more and more light, then everything becomes like super blurry.
Okay.
Like, so if you have a really fast shutter angle, like if the number is really high, or in this case really low, things are more stuttery. So you generally want, when you have a shutter speed, you want your shutter speed to be twice that of your frame rate, is the general rule of thumb. So most of the time we're shooting 24p or 24 frames per second. You'd want your shutter speed to be roughly 48. 48. Sometimes it has to be like fit, depending on the camera. But that's like what looks the most natural. Now you can go like higher to make it look jittier. Yeah, that word. Like I had done that.
More jittery?
Yeah, so I did
I don't
that.
think jitterier is an actual word.
Yeah, you're probably right. So, like, on this camera, you can't really jack up the shutter speed super high because it's just an angle in this camera. But like on more like other digital types of cameras, you can actually like go like super fast.
Okay.
And make it look like I did that effect a few times for like Q's promos, like where the whole room was dancing and bouncing up and down.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to like make it like sometimes you see it in like fight scenes, like super like shaky camera fight scenes where they turn that up and everything's like super it feels aggressive and like
I thought
in
that
your
was
face.
just an effect you did in After Effects.
You can do some of that in After Effects, but one of the ways to achieve it is to turn that shutter speed way up.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and you obviously add to it, but that's just one of the, because it isn't quite the same. It doesn't quite feel the same. When it's done in camera like that, it's really, really good. So like if we go down to here and change this, you'll see like as it goes up to 360, it's much brighter.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go back down to 11.25. And
Oh, okay.
and you can almost see the jitter when I'm moving the camera
Yeah.
like that. And then if we go back the other way,
It's
see,
smoother.
way more, there's more blur
Yeah.
in the image. So you want something that's more natural. There's actually a formula to calculate like shutter angle versus shutter speed to what it should be. I'm not, I have to double check. You know, that number off the top of my head.
Huh.
But like, yeah. So that's.
I didn't realize it was such a thing.
Yeah, there is. And then ISO's there, so you can just. And this camera only goes up to 1600.
Dude, you cannot test me on this after.
I understand. It's more of
This is
something.
way.
It's more of some. I'm just giving you kind of overview. And
Yeah, I get
something that you're like.
Well, it's good. We're live. It's good
Yeah.
for the viewer.
And So
I'm gonna have to go back and watch the replay of this.
no,
string.
actually, I was gonna just hand you the camera and let you start playing with the settings. Go on the camera and on there for a little while, just so you can get some hands-on feel for it. Because yeah, it's kind of important. You have to get comfortable with this,
I don't want to get
or
comfortable with this.
semi-comfortable.
I want you to push the buttons to where you want it to be, and
But
then,
there's gonna be like there's gonna be stuff where you have to change on the fly. There will be stuff. I mean, most of the settings I can set up for you for the most part. But it's good for you to understand if something looks off before it, like wait, that's not right, and you can go in there and fix it.
got it.
Or you know what I mean? Because if like I have to do everything, nothing will get done very fast. So,
Oh, you can, bro. You're a Superman. You can handle it.
you know what I mean. I was working on the script today for it, and I changed the scene in it where I'm gonna like stab a syringe through my hand in the shot. Obviously, I'm not gonna actually do that, so I'm gonna have to get some liquid latex and some makeup, and I've already figured out how to shoot it that will make it look legit.
So if you're recording with different focal points and you're moving your, what is that?
The focus ring,
That's the focus ring.
the one that's like making it focus, or are you talking
Yeah.
about the
It
f-stop?
changes the outline of your focal point.
It'll change what's in focus, so that
Right.
so the little line.
It's not recording it that way, but
Yeah, it will record it that way. So if you're changing,
not
that-
with the green line on it.
no, there won't be any green line.
Right.
Those are just things overlaid they're tools to help you so you're
Man,
setting
see,
up
that's
stuff.
bad for me because I would probably just sit somewhere and just play with that.
Well, you get used to it. That's kind of the point for you to figure out how it works. And
It's interesting how the focal point changes as you
the focus point.
change it. Yeah. Why did you just fart on me, bro?
Oh, I must have accidentally hit the some button.
You've been highlighting the dust on the back of the monitor.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Wait till I get the 4K version of that camera, which is light years ahead of that one. Can't wait. I'm so excited about that.
Man, this thing gets heavy. Don't worry, I didn't put it down on the cable.
I was gonna say you can just pull the thing off and set it aside if you want to keep it down while you're messing with it. Yeah, get in there and play with the menus on the Atomos, and so you kind of know where stuff is. And so it's interesting when I was working on the script today, or working on the script slash storyboarding. So like a shot list slash storyboarding. It's kind of like a 2-in-1 app, sort of. So I was drawing out the shots and what they'll look like and where the things might be framed and stuff like that. And it's just interesting when you're sitting there, you're planning the stuff out. You're thinking about, like, where's the camera need to be? What does it need to be doing? Like, should it be dull? Like, how do I want to make the audience feel? And how can I achieve that through camera movement, through lighting, through acting, through the scene? Where is the camera going to be? How's it going to move? There's a bunch of things, and you have to think about all those things when you're building that. So you have to think about, like, okay, how do I want to light the thing?
Hi, Nolan.
I'd spend like 30 minutes just thinking about how I'm going to move a camera and how I want it to look through a scene, like weighing different shot ideas in my head. Like, should it be shot from above? Should it be shot from below? Should it be handheld? Should it be on the gimbal? Should it be on a tripod? Should it be on a slider? Because they all have, depending on what you do with all those tools, you're going to create different feelings in the shots. So when you're writing all that stuff out, at least I am, I'm like trying to weigh my options. Like, how am I going to get, I'll start writing there, like, oh, I gotta change that because that's not going to end up being like it doesn't suit this next scene, you know?
Okay.
Like, for example, like I was like, these shots should be like on the gimbal
because I want them to be handheld because it'd be a little more impact, like kind of shaky and like unsure. But then I was like, well, maybe I can make it like more creepy if I don't handheld it, and it's more really smooth and like very carefully like slid in, as opposed to, because they're gonna have different, like they'll have similar feelings, but they'll have different feelings.
Right.
So, and like I was like, well, if I change that there, I can contrast it later down the road. What are we shooting? Just
We're playing with camera angles.
oh yeah. See, there you go. So was that like? You feel like you're peering in, like you're getting like a sneak peek, like that. You know what I mean? Like, what is he doing behind there? You know, like the audience feels bigger and like makes me feel smaller, like I'm kind of hiding or something.
Wonder if this is gonna be like the dude last night. He walks up to the DJ booth and,
Right.
and all of my gear goes all over the place.
All right. So
From this angle, it looks like everything's a real awkward mess, but everything is very organized in a sensible way for us.
yeah, more or less. Like it's not. I mean, there's a little clutter there, but it's nothing bad. I mean, it's a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you have like a little understanding from that, and kind of how that works. Let's move on to something different. Let's balance a gimbal. Oh, actually, before we do that, while we're still here, we'll go over this. So this is a set.
How can I turn the monitor off to save battery?
You can keep it on, doesn't matter.
Oh, I was just curious.
Yeah, you just turn it off on the side.
Okay. And it doesn't, like when you turn it back on, it,
You obviously want to stop recording if you're gonna.
right. But all your settings will, where you had your settings will still be
those-
there.
Yeah. And then you could see it also has an
Focus on Steve Blake's head.
See, it also has an output too, so you can send this out to another monitor. So say you had your camera person running this, and then you needed to send another thing out to like a director or whatever, and they can view it someplace else, or for whatever reason. You could also color
So
grade
you
it.
can put like a Wi-Fi transceiver on there.
Yeah, you can do that, or you can just run a cable if you want, if depending on the situation. So this is a set of ND filters that'll fit most lenses. So it's kind of like that matte box I have too, except a smaller version. So we find
Try not to make too much odd noise.
it's probably maybe that one. So as you see, like each one of these rings, they step down in size.
Uh-huh.
So this is 55 millimeter. What is that? Let's see what the inside is. This is 50 millimeter, but I don't know if that's what the. Nope. Smaller. I haven't tested this lens yet. So you screw this on to the front of your lens. And so, no, we were talking about the f-stop and how short, like the more that's turned down, the shorter your depth of field is.
Uh-huh.
So say you wanted to you had a really bright scene, or you were outside during the daytime, or you had a shot with a bunch of lights or whatever, but you still wanted a really short depth of field. But now, like, everything's blown out. Like, it's too bright. Like, so you're trying to, with that f-stop open the way up, there's way too much light. So we need to cut that, but we want to keep that short field. So we can put this on and cut the amount of light that comes through. So in here is a bunch of little glass panes with different ND filters of different darkness levels. This one is super dark. This one has a ND16, so you can like barely see through that. We also have gradiated ones.
So could you use that to film the eclipse if you wanted to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially you can layer a couple of them on there. Plus you have
Oh.
gradiated ones too.
Oh.
It's clear on one side and dark on the other. So you can slide this into one of these slots here.
Oh, there's multiple slots on that
Yeah,
thing.
so you can layer up to 3 of them in here.
Oh.
And then this just goes on
camera on that piece right there. So you're looking at, so now you have like this reed, so it turns like sideways. You have go away. So open this up.
It's not a very good image for viewers, but I'm trying.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's so you can literally, and then you can stack like you don't even have to put them all the way in. You can have them partially in. So like, say you had like that. So now it's like really dark on one side for whatever reason. If you wanted that effect,
Gotcha.
whatever, you know. So this is a cool tool for cutting down light, which is often a problem in daylight. Especially like problem that I have with the drones.
Leviathan said, I remember f-stop from high school photography. Sadly, that's the only thing I remember from that class. If I took photography in high school, I'm sure there's one thing I would remember, and it's how cute the cute chick in the class was.
Yeah,
because I had no interest in photography in school at all.
Yeah, me neither, unfortunately. I didn't learn about I blame shitty teachers, or uninteresting teachers, I should say. Teachers that are like boring.
Well, class. Today, class.
So it's back here, keep it protected.
I think that's why I had to take Washington State history 3 times in order to graduate. It's the first time I took it my freshman year at Covington. The teacher sucked. Second time I took it was my junior year at Evergreen, and the teacher sucked. And then I took it again at Mountain View my senior year, because I had to go to Mountain View for first, second, and third period, and that teacher sucked. Not only did that teacher suck, that was also my homeroom. So I already failed it twice, and now my homeroom class, where I'm supposed to get all my graduation information and all this stuff for your senior class, my homeroom was at Mountain View, but I was graduating at Evergreen. So that sucked.
Wait, you wanna hold that for a second while I get this case out of the way? Because we're gonna bring up a gimbal.
I don't want a gimbal.
Everybody loves gimbals.
Gimbaling is bad. Costs too much money.
What do you mean gimbal cost?
It costs a lot to gimbal. I gimbal at A&A and it just takes my money.
Not that kind of gimbal. Gimbaling, not gambling.
I was trying to make it fun.
All right. So this is exciting.
It depends on who you are, I think.
So this is where we want to go ahead and turn off this stuff, disconnect when you pull off this camera and this rod off here, so that we're going to actually remount them in a different spot. So I'll let you go through with that stuff.
So I just held down the power button and that was it, right?
And then the power button down here. This black button there. I always try to disconnect, like when I'm kind of messing with stuff, just
The delicate one first.
so I don't yank it, break
So
it.
we're taking this all apart?
Yeah, take off the screen and the arm. So the easiest way to do that first is to loosen this, straighten the arm up vertically, then retighten it, and then unscrew it. It's the easiest way.
Seems like it would be harder for me. It makes me nervous when it's extended like this.
Yeah, you just gotta be careful.
I don't want to be careful.
I don't know what to tell you.
Do you ever see me set up my turntables, bro?
Pretty careful with those.
I do it quick. I'm not about careful. I'm about fast.
All right. This is one of my
I feel like I'm playing with Tinker Toys.
This is one of my new favorite toys.
That looks like something I don't want to touch.
Well, it's less expensive than that. So, but we're basically gonna put that on here. And actually, in this,
I'm not worried about the expensiveness. It just looks like
so there's motors
too
in all
technical.
these.
Yeah.
So they'll it's not hard. Trust me. I got Mike to figure it out like in 20 minutes. So I need, before I set this up, I need, because we're running an extra screen, there's a special arm in here that I got. We're actually going to need 2 of these.
Leviathan said that is very interesting. He's interested in the gimbal.
Yeah, a lot of people like gimbals.
Yeah.
So this is an extra support, allows you to hold, like, have 2 handle points as well as another mounting point, which you can mount stuff to. Actually, it has 2 mounting points, which we'll use both. So first, we put this on the bottom.
Hold on, I'm having fun. Is that bad for it? Do you have to oil it on a regular basis or anything? Wait, how did? But what if the joints get like dusty and stuff?
I mean, I suppose it would like.
Can you take it
out the
apart
sand. I'm sure you probably can.
so you can take it apart and clean it and stuff if you need to?
I mean, I'm sure it's possible. I don't think most people recommend doing it, but I mean, I would take it apart if I had to.
What makes it so smooth inside? The ball bearings?
And they're brushless motors.
What?
There's 3 of them in there.
I want to see what these motors look like.
Like,
It almost feels like
so this is like a mid-sized gimbal. They make ones that are like for cell phones and stuff. They're like about $100, $150, around that range.
use the. I just almost smacked myself in the face. I'm gonna stop doing that now.
So,
Oh, there's buttons on here.
buttons and knobs. So this will actually, so this focus ring right here,
Yeah.
this is going to control that manually.
What? So if I turn this, it's gonna turn that?
Yeah.
How?
There's a motor in here.
A motor that connects to that lens?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
And then it connects to the gimbal, and then the wire from there sends a signal to this motor here. They also have a wireless system too to add on, like for $150, where you can have somebody else control that wirelessly or from their phone.
Why is the Brio so cloudy?
I don't know.
I don't either.
So
Could it be because lights are shining directly at it?
maybe, yeah, probably, maybe.
Huh.
So first, you're gonna
Alright.
attach this. This goes on the bottom. So the screw there. So you just want to put that in there, and there's a little screw thing there. Once you get that kind of down,
Dude, I'm gonna stick to DJing. Setting your shit up is way too technical.
I could say the same thing about turntables.
It's XLRs, or XLRs and RCAs.
Dude, you're gonna learn this. It's not that hard. It seems intimidating at first. So one thing to do is to put.
The difference is I like playing turntables.
You'll like this eventually. So, are you left-handed?
Yes.
So okay, this makes sense then. So I usually put it on the other side, but it doesn't really matter whatever's comfortable for you. So I'll make sure that's. So you already set that up right. So this is this part of it is gonna face you with the buttons.
That's what I
are.
assumed, yeah.
So you want to make sure this is nice, real tight.
I just didn't want to break it.
Yeah. Then this goes on the bottom, in the same spot. And these are like legs. So it also helps. It gives you, like a longer extension. But it also helps you, set it up. Like put it down, so you don't have to hold it the whole time. Like obviously you don't want to break it, but you want it nice and firm. Now.
That's what she said.
Yeah. So now it can sit there, and you don't have to hold it the whole time once you get that done. So this makes it a lot easier. All right.
I need to loosen up this tripod. It's the joint on it's a little stiff. Go ahead and go back over there.
Actually, they gave like 1 billion cables for this thing, which half of them were like pointless to me.
Only half?
Yeah. So we pulled this out. This is like a rail like you would see on a regular shoulder mount or whatever. So this this. So this is going to go around that lens in a little while. And this is going to be the gear that this attaches to. Okay, so it goes back here.
Bro, hooking up turntables is way easier.
I figured this out in a few minutes.
Plus, every single time I do it, it's the same pieces over and over. You gotta decide what pieces you need before you even start assembling.
That's why planning is. That's why I plan stuff.
Garbage. That's why I don't watch movies.
You watch movies all the time.
Not really. I watch chick flicks all the time. There's not a whole lot of technical aspect that goes into filming chick flicks.
So, all right.
Now, some chick flick producer is probably gonna send me some hate mail.
So you push this, tightens like, so this slides on here, right? And this tightens this up so it doesn't move on that, right?
Okay.
And once you loosen that up, slide it, it'll stop. It won't go anywhere until you push this button. It's like a safety, so the camera doesn't fly
Basically,
off.
like tripods have.
Yeah.
Decent tripods.
Yeah. So we'll put this on first. This is where the follow focus will get mounted to. The follow focus motor will get mounted to. And one thing I do, oops, I forgot to grab that. One thing that I've learned, because from the torque of the motor, if you don't tighten this down super tight, this will come loose and the motor will just flop over. So there's a little hole here.
Yeah.
So what I use is the Allen key. I stick it in the hole and just make sure it's nice and snug.
Oh.
Just as a little pro tip. So I've got Allen key down here. I have a bunch of Allen keys laying around for different things.
I think everybody does.
I keep them with all my camera stuff because I have a bunch of stuff that requires it. It's one of those things that
I
like
always
you
keep
see.
some in my car.
It's one of those things you see like directors and producers or people on set. They'll have like a pouch and they'll have like all those Allen key fold out
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Because there's tons of pieces of equipment in the film world that run off Allen key stuff. So that's one of the common tools.
Allen wrench set.
All right. So the next thing, which is really cool, is to balance this thing.
That doesn't sound cool at all.
It is. It's very cool. And then after we get it balanced, we can put the screen on now if we wanted to, I suppose.
Bro, you just tried to take your batteries off without hitting the release buttons.
I just did. It happens.
You're gonna break that thing.
So
You break it, you buy.
weird. Obviously, I'll probably do this on set for you guys.
Good, because I'm not doing it.
But knowing how it goes together and knowing how to make tweaks, because sometimes it'll come out of balance, and like being able to fix it is a nice thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Cut, John. This film is your project, bro. I'm just trying to help you.
I'm trying to do like regular projects like this all the time. So
Yeah, well, these films are your projects then, because I'm just gonna jump in and help you wherever you need help, because this filmmaking shit is not for me. I'm sure I'm going to, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna like it.
it's gonna be your new favorite.
Absolutely not.
I promise.
I'd rather jack off with a Brillo pad.
I mean, some people like that. I'm not
Sure,
here to judge.
I'm sure. Some people need to clean off what they did last weekend.
Again, not here to judge.
Nope, I'm not here to judge.
So this, like that. This on the bottom here. So because of how heavy this monitor is, you could hook it up with one, but experience has already showed me that it's much better to put two with one.
2 monitors?
No, two of these to mount it
Oh.
on the top and bottom, just so it doesn't move as easily.
To keep it stable.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I need to get some better one of these. Like these, they're okay, but they're not like as nice as I want, because they just come loose and they just aren't made like a $500 one. I thought I was gonna spend $500 on a friction arm, but you know.
That's what those things are called? Friction arms?
Yeah, they make all them different sizes and different form factors. I want to get some with clamps on the end so I can clamp them to things. Okay, so you want that obviously facing up. This is where it gets a little tricky. Trying to get it together on this part. Like if I'm just doing this by myself, it doesn't take that long. Like it takes like 15 minutes, maybe.
If you're not trying to explain it as you go. Yeah. It's like me with turntables. When it comes to turntables, I'd rather everybody just get out of the way and let me hook it up.
But so the thing with like filmmaking, it's just kind of impossible to like do everything yourself.
Yeah.
There's just too many things that have to
And
be
that's
done.
why I don't want to do it. It's too complicated.
That's where you're supposed to have help from people. That's where you're supposed to say, "Hey, my friends, come help me make a film."
Yeah, well, it helps if your friends are really that interested in it.
Nobody wants to help me.
I wouldn't say that nobody wants to help you. It's intimidating.
Well,
Like,
that's what I'm
I don't
teaching.
want to grab your thousands of dollars worth. Do you want to just walk up and jump on my turntables?
I'm not scared of breaking them. I just suck at it. Like I'm not intimidated by them being, even if they were $100,000 turntables.
Well, probably because you've been around music equipment.
Yeah.
You know.
I have experience around that stuff, so it's not.
Yeah. But the average Joe isn't.
Yeah.
Unless they're drunk. Drunk people try to put their hands on my kids all the time. Don't put your hands on my children and don't fall into them.
So you obviously don't want to mount this too far, like far away, where it's going to offset the. Like we have everything on there, so I try to like kind of mount it behind there roughly,
Okay. Well, yeah, because
just so it's kind of closer to the center. That way you're not being pulled one direction.
aren't you blocking your handlebar though?
Just go on the back side.
Oh.
We'll kind of figure out what works best. You want to make sure nothing's going to like.
Because there's gonna be fatigue. You're gonna be holding this thing for a while, so you
For sure.
gotta make sure it's comfortable.
Yeah, this is it's kind of heavy, like a little bit, but that's why you could set it down and that's why it has legs. So then after it kind of get more or less where I want it, make sure the batteries fit. It's kind of backwards for me because the battery is set over here. I usually have it on that side, so they're not in the way, but so I have to adjust it a little bit.
Well, why don't you just get a hold of Ninja Flame and have them make one with the batteries, like reverse everything?
I mean, I feel like that would be a lot of re-engineering for a product that already works.
Well, they need to make it.
Most people on this setup, if they have the money, they're going to use the 5-inch version of this because it's lighter. That's because this is a little big for this kind of thing, but I'm not going to go spend another $800.
What
on a 500
size is that one?
7-inch.
Okay.
So it's a little bit bigger, but
So most people with more money would use a smaller screen?
for certain applications, like depending on the size of the camera, where it's going, like
Huh.
so like people that like do this all the time, they're gonna have like a bunch of different rigs with different. They might have like 4 28mm lenses
Okay.
because they're different. Like they'll have different f-stops, or maybe some of them are zoom, maybe some of them are prime lenses. Like depends. I mean, like it's not uncommon to see. My point is, to see multiples of the same thing or similar things.
And all the decent cinematography cameras are all the same? They operate all the same?
like basic
As far as
functionality
the
was.
lenses and stuff, swapping
They'll
stuff
have,
out
they'll,
like that?
they'll have different lens mounts. There's like 4 or 5 main lens mount systems.
But they still carry
You can buy like
different...
adapters and stuff for most things. So, but the principles are all the same.
Okay.
So if you can like,
That seems way more technical than I would have expected. Like I would have figured that there's some auto shit that just does what they want it to do with the push of a button.
so in the film industry, you want as much manual control of everything as possible. You don't want
That's why I don't watch movies.
watch Disney movies.
Yeah, they're not using cameras like this.
Their shit's even harder and more complicated.
Dude, they're doing.
On computers.
I'm talking about the animation stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
That's
watch
what-
something that somebody sits behind a computer and crafts.
In a lot of ways, that's a lot more complicated.
I don't care. Like, to me, that's more interesting. This seems like a lot of technical shit for
Well, so on
a few minutes of shooting.
So, like on a bigger film where you have a lot big budget, you'll have somebody that this is their job.
Right.
You know
That's
what I mean?
true. That's true.
That like there's like a job. The sound guy, all he does is hold a boom pole and make sure he's not clipping. You know, you have art. Like there's a. If you look at the credits, how many people are in the credits?
That's true.
Sometimes thousands. 'Cause,
Well, now I understand why.
yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces to making video.
That's why I don't do it.
You've been podcasting.
There's no moving pieces to that, bro.
There's a little bit. There's more than
I gotta click a few buttons and boom.
You know what?
I can talk to the world.
I think there's a lot more moving pieces than you first thought about initially. Very like there's more. You do more stuff now that was super intimidating to you, like a year ago.
Not really.
Well, like setting up everything.
Oh, when we were doing everything organically, yeah, but now everything can stay set up, so it's easy.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you're more comfortable setting up scenes, moving like the technical stuff that you didn't do a year ago.
Right, but that's
So,
like I said,
this
that's
is
also sitting behind a computer. I'd rather people sit behind a computer and do all the fucking technical shit. Just take the blank shot and figure out a way to edit it.
Well, once we get some other people that can help film, you can like just do them or something.
I guess.
Okay, so on this, you have certain distance on the. Okay, so this is your focus ring, like we were showing before.
This is kind of interesting.
So what I'm going to be putting this rubber ring on there. So I store it with the rings inward, so it keeps the teeth good and doesn't damage them. Then when I want to use it, it goes the opposite direction. So.
So the teeth don't line up with the little.
No, so the teeth on this will line up with the teeth on this.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So what I want to do is I want to make sure that this is straight, and I turn this all the way. So the motor is going to be on this side, okay?
Okay.
So I want to make sure that I have enough room when it rotates that it's not going to run into stuff. So I try to put this like over here on this side. So as that's lined up, roughly here, and if the motor is hooked up to about here on this side, it'll stop. So I want to make sure I have enough room. So I'm going to put it so the teeth end about here when it's all the way this direction, and then when I rotate it around, it'll end up down here in this corner, basically. So on like a cinema lens actually already have these teeth pre-installed, like they're already on the lens.
Okay.
Like a lot more than this. Like they're much more like pointy, and they're the focus point. So there's no like this thing getting in the way. So the focus is like to go from one focus to the other is pretty short on this. On a
Right.
cinema lens, it could go like 1.5, 2 times around.
Okay.
From end to beginning. So you have a lot finer control over it on an actual cinema lens. Cinema lenses are also sharper. They're much higher quality. Like a single 50 millimeter, like lowish quality will run you about $700 for one lens.
Okay.
Like a high end, like a Zeiss or something of that quality, for a single prime lens will run you about $2,000 to $3,000. And then a cinema zoom lens, upwards of you can spend $10,000 to $20,000 on a single lens.
Wow. That's another reason why I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably never be able to afford a $20,000 single lens. It's unlikely. But, we don't need those. Those are for the pixel peepers.
The what?
Pixel peepers.
Explain what a pixel peeper is.
Somebody that goes in and like fine tooth comb and like checks like how distorted pixels are.
People
like,
really do that? They need a life.
Like people that are super into like making sure, like if you're filming something that's going to go on like 100-foot screen, you're like if it's not like really good quality, it's gonna look like shit. So
Well, I don't care. Those people still need a life.
like some
Pixel
people,
peepers?
that's just a term.
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
You see more of it like in not so much in like big budget filmmaking, but like people that do like I don't know, photography or just that are like you'll see like people that are into monitors, like they'll check, like they'll be really into like the pixel count and seeing if there's any dead pixels. So I want to make sure this is straight as I can make it on here.
See, I'm holding this tripod as still as I can just to make sure that people that are watching have a decent shot, and that's enough technical aspect for me. Yeah, this is good. We're good.
So, and this part takes a little bit of practice to get super fast on it.
So you always have to keep a dime in your pocket so you can tighten that screw.
I mean, sometimes a quarter, whatever. I just grab whatever. It's a great change. Is a great way to
Tighten the
It's just
flathead.
nice,
Yeah.
and, nice and solid. On this camera, actually, over here. This is a door here. This is where the battery goes and the memory card goes.
Right.
We don't use those.
Okay.
All right. So you want to balance this, your gimbal, with it off. So basically, ideally, the way you want to do it is make sure when you set up the gimbal that it doesn't move. It basically more or less stays where it's supposed to, where you leave it, roughly. That would be like perfect. So wherever you moved it, it stayed there. It doesn't always work out exactly like that. So what I do is I slide this in here. I'm gonna get this basically center of balance. First, I want to make sure it's not tipping left or right. Like, so I'm gonna hold this like at this point.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to balance this joint first. So I want to get this as close as I can. And I'll probably have to actually adjust it. So I know that I'm going to add some more weight to the to the front of this with that motor. So I'm actually going to set it up so it's a little bit back heavy and just kind of tighten it down for the time being. One cool thing about this thing is, see this turn screw here? This will come out. See, like it pops out, and you can turn it.
Okay.
And then tighten
Oh,
it.
okay.
So
So it kind of wrenches it down.
yeah, I mean, because the frame of the cage is getting in the way, it smacks it, so it's a nice feature. So I'm just kind of setting it there for now till I get this piece on. So what I want to do, and this cable, so the cable is going to attach to the mount back here, or to the point back there, and then the bottom of this. So you have crane one here. So there's two ones. You want to mount it to that one. This is for something different. Alright, so I'm going to loosen this up. So this will actually slides off. Try to keep it firmly on there. And then this can sometimes be annoying with the catches and stuff. So I want to get this.
Oh, okay. I see how it works.
So that goes there.
I thought for some reason the excess, the tail part, was gonna wrap around something, or
Some
feed
people
through
cut,
something.
like if they have I only have two of them and I don't want to ruin them, but you can buy a bunch of these and then just cut them for each size lens,
Right.
and then that's something to do.
Can't you or mark the teeth where you know it needs to set in? So
Yeah, so different size lenses are different
Right.
widths. So sometimes you have.
so you
to,
just why don't you just get one for each lens?
I will eventually. Start with that one.
Do it now.
So you want to make sure it's nice and snug. So you don't want it to be like too far down this way or too far that way. You want it to be kind
Right.
of like in the middle where it's gonna have a good like right into it.
Angle for turning.
Yeah. And I probably haven't
Simple
found,
physics.
Yeah, but I feel like I haven't still found the perfect spot yet. I'm still kind of experimenting with that part.
That's all men. Men have the same problem.
Yeah. So I want,
Doesn't matter how old she is, because the spot changes sometimes. Hope my mom and dad aren't watching,
so you want to make sure
making
it's
vagina references.
the between the teeth is as tight as possible. That actually came loose a little bit when I was tightening it down. So I need to re-loosen that back up. Make sure that's snug.
As a bug in a rug?
Gimbals can be a little finicky. Sometimes they take a little practice to get used to setting up and running. They're not like they just take a little work. Gotta be a little patient with them. All right, so let me plug this in here. So you want? I try to like mount all this stuff, whatever's gonna be on the camera, before I finish balancing it. So like I'm gonna have to mount the battery on there before I finish balancing it. So whatever's up here on the thing, whether it's if you have matte boxes on it, if it's a zoom lens and you know where it's going to be zoomed, you want to set it to that first before you. So if the lens is too long, it probably have a hard time balancing. So it depends. Some lenses won't balance for that reason. This wouldn't be obvious, but for that reason.
That doesn't even look like it's plugged in there all the way.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
It's supposed to hang out that far?
Yeah.
Oh.
It just doesn't. Just the way they designed the cable. It's weird. Not every. I have other cables that are the same, like micro to micro, and they don't work. This is, and it came with several micro to micros, and this is the only micro that works for this purpose.
Huh.
They work for. There's other micros that like connect to your phone and connect to other devices from the body of this and do other things. But for what the wiring in this is specifically made.
It's proprietary.
Yeah, to that.
Weird.
So for whatever reason.
That's weird.
All right.
So if you ever lost that cable, you would have to buy that specific cable.
Yep. No choice otherwise. All right. So now that I have this on here, now it's clearly heavy this direction. But first, we're gonna. So you can mount. So these all have adjustments. So
Okay.
So first, I'm trying to forward and balance this thing. So another thing is what sucks is now that I have that connected, I'm gonna have to move it again because once I have this here, see it's falling backwards.
Uh huh.
I have to move everything that direction. So that includes this. So this is the hardest part of the balance, is this first part. And so you have different lenses on it, it'll all change. So
if you ever swap lenses, you have to rebalance the whole thing.
yeah.
This is such a pain in the ass.
Like I said, it takes a little bit of practice and a little patience.
All of the little technical finite detail that you have to go through for the perfect shot.
Yes.
I'm not gonna watch movies anymore, dude.
So you should watch them more now. You should be appreciative of them.
No, it makes me absolutely lose interest because you went through all of this fucking detail just to get this perfect shot. I'm happy just
So,
watching
like-
it. Record it from your phone.
So what you try to do on a shot is you try to get, like, say you have a gimbal shot or gimbal shots. You try to shoot all the gimbal shots if you can together. And,
Right.
like,
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, there might be cases where for reasons of like post-production, like say you're, for instance, like makeup or or you're blowing up a car, or something that was like more one-off, you might have to like do certain things, But that's why you try to plan stuff and schedule stuff that is try to get it to as best as you can. Oh shit.
I'll stick with my turntables.
Now I'm closer. I have to move this way. So I move all the way back out. It's falling this way a little bit. So I'm gonna go inch it back like a couple centimeters.
They don't have like buttons so you can just lock everything into place temporarily.
I mean, that's what those knobs are for.
Huh.
I just think I have some hands. Move this back just a touch.
God, that's so freaking
This is the hardest part. Once this one's done, then the rest of it's pretty fast.
What's this little band in here?
We'll see. Oh, it's just cable. Because there's wires that run through all this stuff.
Really?
Control the motors, yeah. The wires that run from inside here to the here, to here, to here.
Oh
through
shit! So
here.
they're actual electric motors.
Yeah, they're all electric motors.
Oh.
You can control them from this control thing.
Oh.
They don't just like free float. Like you have like complete. You can automate this thing and tell it where. Like so, I can leave it on the stand and program it to shoot there. Slowly pan over to here, however fast I want it to. Shoot that. You can pre-program it too.
Oh.
So
it's a smart stand.
kind of. So look at that. Now I'm like pretty balanced. I'm not like swinging one way or the other. So now I can make sure this is nice and tight. And then make sure this is locked down. Nice and tight. So obviously, like I'll do this.
I'm starting to understand why nobody else wanted to do this now.
It's not that hard. Like
It's not that it's hard, but you have to have passion for it. It's like painting. Do you want to go get some canvas and some oil
I
paints
used to
and
paint a lot.
yeah, like Bob Ross style, mountains and trees and shit?
I painted all kinds of stuff back in high school and junior high.
I did too, but I don't want to do it now because I don't have any passion for it.
All right. So then, another thing is I also have this this axis. So now I have so now that I have the axis of this going this way, forward and back, I also want to make sure that I'm balanced on this one. So I'll move this down a touch.
So how are you moving it?
So I'm just sliding it. And so once you
Oh,
undo
okay.
this screw, you'll just see there's grooves in here.
Oh,
Both
got
sides.
it, got
And
it.
then you also have like markings on the inside with like measurements on all the joints.
Okay.
So you can kind of use that if you need to. And like, it doesn't have to be perfect because the motors will like control it a lot. But if it's off too much, the motor, that joint that's is too far off, will just shut down. The camera will slam down. Basically, like the motor will just stop doing stuff because it's overworking the motor if you don't have it balanced.
Oh,
So you want to make sure it's pretty balanced.
so it's not gyrating.
Yeah. It was also, so the motor isn't going doing weird stuff. So that's pretty close. Good enough there. Now next is this one. So if you see, it's falling this direction. So what I do is I loosen this one, go this way a bit. So now that like when I move it,
They don't have levels in them?
it's not about level. It's just about it being. It should stay roughly where you leave it. Obviously, this configuration, because the battery is way out here, it's on a cage. It's not going to be perfect,
Right.
but
It just seems like a level would make it a little easier to.
oh yeah. Let's kind of swing you back to the middle. It's pretty close. And then there's one last one. It's this one here. I'm going to do that one. Just grab the whole thing. Oh, sorry.
That's right. Everybody needed a loud wake up bang.
I tilt it down, and I want it to kind of stay flat. Obviously, it's sinking. See how it's sinking to the left. So it's sinking to the left here. So I need to put more weight on the right side. So basically, I just need to loosen this. Slide this way. Essentially nose diving in that direction. close. All right. Now we're balanced. Now we can set it back down. You want to feel how heavy it is?
Christ on crutches. I'm good for about 30 seconds of film. Maybe 45 if I eat my Wheaties.
I mean, once it's like this, it's not too bad. You can keep it like, close to you. It's the best way. Put elbows around. I was filming out the car window with it, like this, for like hours with Mike. Alright, so now that we have that done, now we can turn it on. Oh, first we have to put this in. Hopefully it stays balanced.
Alright, I need to adjust that. I guess I can't on this cheap ass stand. That's annoying.
Alright, so there's that. Probably gonna need a little more slack. Here.
And that's when you have to be careful with.
So, like, another thing people do when they shoot, like, it's going to be like a project where there's a lot of things like we're going to shoot. A lot of stuff will be set up. You set it up the night before.
Right.
So you don't, anything that you can pre-set up that to make your life easier the next day, you do. Just so you don't have to like spend, or you bring somebody to do that, or whatever. You just find ways to stay efficient.
Yeah, like if this was my rig, I don't think I would ever take it apart.
So this one isn't even that big or complicated. They make ones that are much. Again, it gets easier the more times you do it. And you're not teaching. So the camera's on. All that fun stuff. What do you mean no input? Alright. So in the newer versions of this, you actually have dials, or you can set up 2 of these motors. So you can have another one of these that controls zoom, and then one that controls focus.
Okay.
So you have like the newer versions that just came out like a few months ago. I didn't want to spend $1,200 on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I mean, I would want to, but
Oh. That was just like a robot.
so there's different modes. So this allows you to go in any direction.
Oh, by the pushing, like,
Yeah.
there's just a little knob on there. Oh, okay, I see.
So you can see look over here. You can see when I turn this, the focus changes.
Yeah, I can see the little pigtail at the top.
Yeah. So yeah. The only thing is you have to be when you're doing this, you have to be careful when you're focusing that you don't go like when it stops, you don't just keep going. Because there is a way to set like endpoints. I just haven't done it yet, I guess.
Okay.
Supposedly there is, from what I've done. But like when I was first doing it, I'd like overturn it and it would jump gears. It'd go because I, wouldn't necessarily know where it was. Alright, so and that's cool. So now we're at the camera's in focus right there. That's cool. And then when you pick it up, see like.
Oh, so it stays on what your focal point was?
Yeah, I mean, or it'll stay depending on the mode. So there's different modes in here. So if I go hit the mode button again and go PF, it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
It won't go. You can't like motor change left or right, but it'll lock in that direction basically, but it will pan up and down.
Huh.
So, and then there's like, if you double click it, there's like a bunch, and then there's like this weird rotation mode, which is weird to me. I don't know what the hell that's for. It's one of those things where it's like you have to kind of like play with it for a little while.
That's what she said.
So, so like using this to like follow stuff takes it to be real it's real sensitive.
What up, Dustin? Dustin said, so what you want to do is hire somebody else to do your cinematography. Find somebody that has passion with it, like Sean, because this shit is way too technical for me to be interested in. But I'm gonna help him. I'm gonna help him do a film. You want me to hold it? I don't want to
play with it.
I don't want to play with it. Like,
You have to figure it out.
whoa, that's really touchy.
Yeah.
Can you change how touchy that is?
I think it's on the slowest setting right now.
Really?
Which I did. Yeah, me and Mike were like,
It
man, I
is.
wish it was like, if you practice with it, you can get better at it.
Let's see if
And
that camera's.
when I was talking to Mike about it, I was like, he's like, man, I wish it was like less, like didn't jump as much, and like the bigger rigs, the ones that are like meant for like quote unquote cinema cameras, like the big ones where you have one person just holding the rig and then somebody else doing that control separately from a remote control. Those are a lot more. They have a lot more fine motor control.
Huh.
But for the size and price and like what this does, like it's like this was only like how much did I pay for it? $450.
Okay.
So it isn't like it's not bad, you know. Like especially if you practice with it, you can get shots. You may have to do the shots a couple of times, try it a few times, but
Can you? But there's not a control on here to zoom.
this is a prime lens.
Okay.
Meaning it doesn't have a zoom. Prime
Oh,
lenses
okay.
have single focus length. So most things we'll be shooting will be with a prime lens anyway. And the quote unquote zoom will be done by either walking with the camera with like on this or on the slider. So that's how we'll obtain most of our zoom. Because prime lenses are sharper, they're better quality. Like for the most part, prime lenses have a higher quality image. So that's why most films are shot mostly with prime lenses, and they just move the camera. That's why they have big dolly rigs and
Got it.
things like this. Yeah, so walk around with it. See
I don't
how-
wanna.
Sure.
I don't wanna. I really, honestly, until you're filming scenes, I don't understand the point. Like,
Get used to it.
no, I don't understand the point of having to have one.
So you're filming what? Filming what? You're filming scenes?
Yeah. I don't understand the cinematography behind the perfect angle,
Oh,
and I don't think I ever will because I don't visualize it like
that's
that.
my storyboard. So
No, I understand the concept.
like.
I don't
so
understand
like,
the vision because I'm not a visionary in a visual aspect.
So that's one reason I storyboarded it all, so you could see the shots. And like, so before every shot, for example, especially on this, I'll be like, okay, I'll more than likely have somebody else stand in for me, show you how to shoot, like what the shot should be.
Merry Christmas to you, Dustin. Say Merry early Christmas.
So like I would show you how the shot should look based on like the storyboard and stuff. You'd be like, okay, so I want to be here, I want this framed this way, like that kind of thing. So it'll make sense. Like, you know, I'll show you.
So because it seems like it's not balanced to me, does that mean that would have to be, like it's leaning to the right? That's something that would have to manually be.
So you can triple.
Oh, okay. I see.
It's like 3 or 4 clicks.
Huh.
And then reset it, so. I know there's like with this, there's like a weird on this model or this generation of gimbals. Depending on factors unknown to most people, because most people have a problem, or everybody has a problem from time to time, and they don't really know what causes it. Is every once in a while the camera will just start jittering, meaning like the motors will be like doing something weird, and people are like, I don't know what it is. I tried rebalancing it, and then just randomly shows up. I turn the gimbal off, turn it back on, it goes away, kind of thing. So,
Oh. Yeah, you don't want to go too far.
so right here I kind of wrote down all the scenes, and then in here's all the shot lists. So, like in here
Oh
you
my
can
God.
see
Never thought I'd ever
like
hear
what the shot
MGMT
is, and
again.
like I
But
also
guess who
have
popped up on the Yo Gabba Gabba Spotify station yesterday?
like each of the shots you can turn off the text so you can see them if you want to. So, and then like certain things like show framing, like in that, so that's where the framing should be. So like that's what the camera should be seeing off of, like over the shoulder. And I describe it in each shot too. So as each shot come up, we're like, okay, we need to do this shot. This is what it should generally look like. Here's a reference picture. This is what's going on in the story, and then you just check it off. So as you do one, you're like, oh, we got this shot done. Just double click it. It's done.
Gotcha.
Or you can go into it and you can like click on one and say delay, like this scene's going to be delayed, or we're cutting this scene, or it's marked as done. You know, that kind of thing. So like this is all planned out, or like roughly planned out now, like to where it's all like systematic, like okay, this is what this needs to be done, this is what it should look like, and then that way when whoever's on here, okay, we have this next scene up, then we can meet, we're like, okay, all right, this is where we need, this is the equipment we need to set up, this is what we need to shoot at these pieces, and then make sure those shots come together, and then we move on to the next section.
Right.
So it's
I understand the concept of a storyboard. It
shouldn't be as
doesn't.
complicated as you think it's going to be.
No, it's probably not going to be, but it still
It's
doesn't
a
make
lot.
it any more interesting to me. This is your passion. I'm along for the ride to help you.
But you know what?
Fulfill
what
your
it'll
dreams.
do? What it'll do is the stuff that you want to edit, it will make you better at that stuff.
Right.
Because you'll see like how stuff is created. Like the more
I
complicated.
want to edit this fucking tripod right now. Do you see the issues I'm having? Like it's so stiff moving it up and down.
There's not a, you can't turn the handle. Or spin the handle.
Oh shit! See? This is why I shouldn't be dealing with any photography or film shit.
See, this is
Because I had no idea.
But I'm teaching.
Yeah.
You're getting educated, so it'll be easier. You'll be like, okay.
Now I feel like a fucking dummy.
Elective epidural.
You know,
It's like she doesn't even care about
I've ran across tripods with weird controls, and I'm like, what's this?
Yeah, because all the other ones have little knobs that you can tighten that.
Like, and they're all a little bit different. So it's just you sit to, like when you get like a new camera,
You
like
can actually like spin the handle on this one and it loosens it.
Yep.
That's freaking nuts.
And I think that one you can even pivot like 45 degrees. So if you loosen that, you can turn the whole thing.
Yeah. I knew that.
So you get Dutch angles. It's a
Yeah.
Dutch angle.
Why is it called Dutch?
I don't know why it's called Dutch.
Because the Dutchmen are probably always on a tipsy on a boat.
I have no idea. But it's a angle that's not used that often, but when it is, it's usually pretty interesting. Like you do it to like kind of throw the audience off a lot of times.
Yeah.
So that's
I
kind
hope
of
I didn't offend any Dutch people.
So you know how tripod works.
Are you
Yeah.
kidding? Of course I'm not gonna let her wear
I think
pink.
that's all the major things. I was like, okay.
Gender roles
How many subjects are you gonna have in this particular film?
You mean subjects? Scenes, you mean?
Actors,
Oh,
characters.
it's just gonna be me and then
Do you think the
the
gold
driver,
iPhone 6
that's it.
flashes with her
keep
indigo
it simple.
aura?
Word. I was just curious.
I just need somebody to play the, like. I guess there's a body.
Kill the battery on that.
There's a body too that we have to make out of like trash bags and whatever we stuff in there. But
A dead body?
yeah, just to drop, like pull out of a trunk and drop it. So
I think you should use an actual person.
yeah, Anthony.
He was pretty good at playing dead.
At least faking it.
Well, I heard his girlfriend's a necrophiliac, so he has to play dead on a regular basis.
That was cool. All right, so I think this is good. I wanted to film something, but Twinkle Toes is sleeping probably.
I don't have any idea. Yeah, this is good. He's probably playing video games.
I tried messaging on the group chat, but I didn't see anything on her. So
He's ignoring. Michael, if you're watching, you're slacking, dude. He's not watching. I can't check.
Is there-
Oh, yeah. I can.
is anybody still there?
We have 5 viewers right now.
So my goal is to like make these kind of films like maybe like once a month, like these like bigger productions, in like 5-6 months, like a little more in depth.
Okay.
And then we make those so people can go onto these things and learn skills, get like an idea of how more in-depth things are created. But those same skills can translate to simpler stuff with their cell phones, and they can edit those things, those simpler things, with the same skills that are just scaled down for
Right.
simplicity purposes, can be used to make stuff more efficiently and more creatively. So
Gotcha.
that makes sense. So
Yes.
I feel like it's not going to be a waste of people's time. I don't think. I think it's if they're going to make any kind of content, it'll be useful to them.
Okay.
But that's just my opinion.
Cool.
Anyway,
It makes sense.
um,
And I'm still going to be at the point, no matter how much you show me ahead of time, I'm still going to be at the point when we do it that I'm going to be like, Sean, what do you want me to do here? And you're just going to have to instruct.
yeah, but you'll pick it up quicker than you think you will.
Probably. I'll pretend like I like it. I'll pretend like I'm interested.
You'll be like, oh yes, this is amazing.
Yes, this is the best.
You don't have to do that,
This is the best.
but- okay, so. Alright, I guess we can. We don't have anything to edit though, do we?
No actual video editing. I want to put an intro in that clip, but a lot of that's going to be pre-production creation stuff. Because I have an idea for how I want to set it up. I want to make a frame. I don't know what you call it, like an intro, an animated intro
Okay.
that I can use on everything. An intro and outro. That basically we
Like the Animoto thing, you mean? Or something else?
kind of, yeah, but much shorter, obviously. Like the sweeper intros that you made for
okay.
season 1. Yeah, yeah.
I bet you I have one backed up.
Well, even if you don't, there's some on. They're uploaded to the Funk Shop TV page
Yeah,
or
just
YouTube.
Rip that piece off
Yeah, we can download them from YouTube.
and cut those apart.
But I have it like a specific look that I want to try to create. That's not just a word sweeping in. I'll
Okay.
explain when we go off camera. When we're not live.
Okay. We can try to do that. Depending on where it is, we can try to do that. With what's on here.
Well, let's.
I don't know that, but you know what? We should go. Let's go just make something fucking stupid real quick. Like go film for like 20, 30 minutes somewhere.
Okay. Well, let's go. Before we do that, find somebody to rate them, just so we can get a.
I'll let you do that because I'm not sure how to deal with that.
Okay.
While you do that,
Hope this isn't confusing anybody. Thanks for watching Funk Shop TV. This was a tutorial by Sean. He's gonna teach me how to be a camera guy. I'm gonna learn. Gonna learn today. So I gotta go find somebody that we can raid before I end this, and then we're gonna go out film, and then we're gonna come back and edit the film. That's what's happening. Let's see who's live. Yeah, I was just trying to think of that too. Maybe we can go shoot a bunch of wannabe rappers over at Three Monkeys. They're doing a video shoot right now, apparently. Did I just say wannabe rappers out? I forgot we're live. Nah, there's some talent there. There's some talent there. I'm just, all rappers have me a little jaded these days.
well, ones that take themselves too seriously.
Yeah. There are some interesting looking individuals on Twitter right now.
I mean, they did say we could go film up there,
Who said that?
didn't they? Didn't the owner say that?
Oh yeah.
So why don't we just go up there and film in the bar? Just in general. You could do that. It's easy. thing.
Just for
Or-
practice? 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't want to use any of that footage for anything.
Okay. I mean, yeah, we could do that for
It looks
just
like this guy's.
just to cut stuff,
Good night, Pumpkin.
or we could.
Here's a guy that's doing. Oh, it looks like a 3D printer. This guy's building something with a 3D printer, apparently.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised me and Mike never got into the 3D printing
I am too.
because me and him were down at like Fry's like a couple weeks ago, and maybe a month ago, and we're looking at 3D printers and we both look at each other and we're like, why haven't we got into this?
Before we do this, I'm gonna put in group chat.
Because I know if I did, I'd be making components for all kinds of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
like I could think of like, I was thinking about applications I can make soda can holders for the fridges in the vans, so they wouldn't fly out of the vans. Like I had designs in my head that would more than likely work pretty well. But I'm sure I would come up with all kinds of like things that I could use with camera equipment, because there's all kinds of like odds and ends of like stands or brackets or whatever, you know, just random things where that just, you know, you can use.
Who did this? Who the freak ate my snack pack?
Who needs rated right now? Let me look in our Discord.
I mean, or we can just go shoot some random like goofy short thing, like just film make a story out of some task. It doesn't have to be anything like I said before. Like I did like gas stations, and, like I pump gas. One thing with gas stations though, they don't like when you bring in big camera stuff.
Yeah.
I'd use my cell phone for those. I remember like I got yelled at for like vlogging with this camera, but it didn't have all this shit on it. Like one time when I was on last trip to California I took, I had this camera with me, and I was vlogging with me and my dad and stuff, and Chevron gas attendants came out just freaking out because we were like filming ourselves, like just talking, like really? Like you come out like that, like it was annoying.
Might take me a minute.
So Rebecca, the girl that I went and fixed her car.
Uh-huh.
So her car broke down again 2 days later because I didn't double check. So there was two of us working on it, like her roommate, like whatever. Like the,
Ate my snack bag.
he like is somewhat mechanically, well, he's fairly mechanically inclined. But he's a younger kid, and you know, so we were working on it together. Like he was just kind of, I'm like, well, can you undo these bolts or what, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And I didn't check to make sure he tightened down the alternator tensioner those bolts super tight. Like it looked like he did, but I didn't double check it. Like, I mean, I was watching, but obviously I didn't. I was like, oh, it looks alright. Like it looked like he was doing it right. Was my point, and I just didn't go and double check it myself with a wrench to make sure it was tight enough. And and you know what? It could have like just been some freak weird thing too. It might not have even been that. Jesus. So I fixed her car. It broke down. Because the alternator came loose and it fucked up the electrical system. Like it wasn't getting proper voltage, and it fucked up the computer to the car. The whole computer was basically fried, so it wouldn't run right. It was like going in safety mode and shit, like limp mode.
Okay.
Well, like 2 days ago, I think, or a day ago, I think she got rid of those cars. She bought a brand new Toyota Altima, I think, is what she said. Or no, Nissan, what the fuck is it called? Nissan Sentra. She bought a brand new Nissan Sentra. And she thought, well, she just messaged me at 8:30, but I didn't see the message. She's like, my car got towed or stolen. I just responded. And then she's like, so I was like, oh, fuck. Worst luck. I guess it just got towed because she was parked a little too close to a fire hydrant in Portland.
So the chick that you were just working on the car for?
Yeah. Her car broke down 2 days after that.
After you went and fixed a bunch of stuff?
Yeah, like after I did the timing belt and to replace the water pump and the tensioner and like all that shit. So I fixed that and got it running and back in time and everything. And then like 2 days later, because you have to take the alternator, you have to take a bunch of shit out to get to that stuff on her car, on the Honda Civic that she has. So I don't know if the kid that was helping work on it, if he tightened up the bolts tight enough to the alternator and the alternator came loose and the belt wasn't like creating enough tension on the alternator to draw or to make electricity to power the battery, and I think it fucked up the system from everything I was reading and trying to troubleshoot why her car wasn't running anymore. She had to have it towed back. So that was another thing that was messed up is she knew that it wasn't running right, and the kid actually made the right call because she called him, didn't let me know about it until way after the fact. She called him and he's like, well, is the alternator belt loose? And she, I guess, checked it or something, and he's like, I think it's the alternator, and it was, whether he was describing it. He's like, okay, that needs to get tightened before you keep going. You told her not to drive. She drove all the way from the coast to and almost got all the way back with the alternator system fucked up, and then it just completely broke down. The computer fried. So she was fucking up the voltage to the computer all the way back.
Yikes.
So between her not listening to him and then me, I felt bad, to the point where I was like, fuck, dude. I partially felt like it was my fault, even though I know it's not, but Like, I'm like, fuck. I should have fucking checked that kid's work. So, yeah. So she spent a bunch of money. And now she just spent her $300 to get her car out of tow.
That sucks.
Yeah, you don't
God,
mess
I
around
can't-
with the fucking traffic shit.
Yeah.
They give zero fucks. I'm waiting to see if I got a ticket for running or for going too fast through a light because I saw flash things go off a couple days ago.
Oh, yeah?
in Gresham. In an area
Yeah,
like
you
so
got
was
a
a.
camera, you got a camera ticket.
I'm just wondering if they actually got a picture of it because it was late at night and it was like really bad weather, and I didn't see any fucking road signs, so I wasn't like going super fast. But I think I was maybe going 15 over and just didn't realize that was the speed limit there because it was 2 lanes each direction.
Right.
And so it was like, I think I was doing 45 and I think it was actually a 30 zone. Like there's spots in Portland that are like that piss me the fuck off. It's
Yes.
like,
there's a lot.
why is it this speed through here? It's like 4 lanes, 5 lanes, 6 lanes of traffic and we're doing like there's a school zone, but it's not a school zone. She's like, it's okay. I've decided I'm just not leaving my house anymore.
Might be the safest bet. Well, since we don't, let's see if anybody's on here. Ben Comedy's probably actually at a gig right now.
Is it like an actual? They're actually comedians, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they were doing comedy at 7 in Bend on Fridays, so they'd be doing comedy when I show up. I didn't put 2 and 2 together that we actually met back in the day until one night I was like, hey, did you guys do the comedy at 7? They're like, yeah. I said, oh, I used to DJ down there. They're like, oh yeah, that's you. Like, yeah, that's you.
That's funny. Whoa.
Boy, people just
See,
don't-
this camera's like the coloring is all fucked up. See where it's where my finger is?
Yeah.
See how it looks like it's blue on the screen? Like the color of that sticker looks blue from that camera.
On the Brio?
Yeah. Or no,
Yeah.
no, yeah. Whatever that is, that camera there. From this one. See how that looks blue where my finger is?
Uh-huh.
That's silver.
Really?
Yeah. Silver and red.
But everything else is so vibrant.
I wonder.
No,
It
now it was
has to-
silver.
Where? Like my hand.
Slow down. No, go back the. Stop. No, go back the other way a little bit. Little bit. Yeah, it was right around there, so it's obviously picking up reflection of something.
Oh, there it is. It's probably those lights right there. It's reflecting off of something and creating that.
Huh.
Interesting.
The weird things you catch. I can't stand the coloring of the 4K camera. But now that I'm looking at where our studio lights are, the truss lights, I'm wondering if that's it.
Probably. I actually like the color of that camera better than all the others. Like skin tone color. I don't like the blue, but that's probably what it actually kind of. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's a little oversaturated in blues, but skin tones, it's actually pretty good.
I think the 922 has the most realistic color.
So this is where I like I want to I like a camera. I prefer a camera that's more desaturated and more neutral.
Why?
Just just for like there's more room to edit.
Right.
That's the main reason. Because then I have, you know, I also just, I don't know. I guess it depends on what you're shooting or what you want, but I guess the way I look at it is if it's, you can always add. It's hard to take away. Like if you blow out highlights or you crush blacks,
There's a guy
you
from
can't fix those.
Stream Mafia that's live right now. So we'll just go right here. He doesn't have any viewers, but who cares? So thanks for tuning in. We're gonna go raid somebody for a minute, and then we're gonna go out and shoot some live stuff, so we can come home and edit the live stuff that we shoot.
And now,
you,
of course, this Gohan isn't even level 1 yet, so he's not going to be able to
Let me make sure I get
get
in.
that level 1 now. Still has the char available.
So this is one of those guys on the Facebook group.
To,
The Discord.
get that level 1 now. Still has the char available.
Shout out to Stream
This is
Mafia.
one of those guys on the Facebook group.
To,
The Discord.
get that
By
level
the way,
1
I'm
now.
getting recording this
Still has
episode,
the
so you can
char
chop something
available.
that out.
Shout out to Stream
This is one
Mafia.
of those guys on it. And make clips on it.
The Discord.
Get that
By
level
the way,
1
I'm
now.
getting recording this
Still has
episode,
the
so you can
char
chop something
available.
that out.
Shout out to Stream Mafia.
Guys on it. Hopefully you enjoyed the camera.
Get that
By
level
the way,
1
I'm getting
now.
recording this
Still has
we
the
dropped down.
char available.
Shout out to Stream Mafia. Thanks for watching. We'll be back later.